Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Arcade YouTube channel. This is your host, as always, Christian Sanderford. I'm going to be taking you guys through the top 10 wide receiving prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft today. Super excited. We got some really good athletes in this wide receiver class. I don't necessarily think it's the best wide receiver draft class of all time, but it's not the worst. I've seen worse. So, we'll get into it, but before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Sports Arcade YouTube channel. Feel free to shoot us an email. I'm more than happy to take suggestions, critiques, feedback. It's going to be down in the description of the video. But let's go ahead and just get this thing underway, right? Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. Jalen Noel is 5'10", 194 pounds. He's projected as a 4th round pick, and he has a pro comp of Wan'Dale Robinson. His potential is somewhere around a starter or maybe even a return specialist or depth piece. He had 152 receptions, 1,820 yards, and 14 touchdowns in his collegiate career. His strengths are that he's a slot dynamo with quick separation, and he has very good punt and kick return value. But he has very limited potential because of his size, and yeah, I mean, his route running's not great, and his boundary, he's just not the best in terms of overall well-rounded wide receivers, but he is a very good, quick guy with return specialist, and he can be that slot dynamo. Ultimately, he's a compact and twitchy playmaker, kind of like a Kadarius Toney or Wan'Dale Robinson type, with a lot of special teams upsides. He fits in a lot of modern offenses, and that speed and motion helps that a lot. But coming in at number 9, we do have Isaiah Bond, the former Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver that went to Texas last year. He's coming in at number 9, standing 5 feet 11 inches tall and 180 pounds. He's a 3rd round draft pick, potentially projected around somewhere around there, 3rd, 4th maybe. His NFL comp is John Brown, the super speedy guy that broke the 40-yard dash record before getting drafted to the Bengals and just couldn't stay healthy. He does have starting potential. He does need some improvement, though. I do see him being a gadget wide receiver in the NFL for a long time if he never gets to that starting level ability, though. His strengths are he has blazing speed, just a super quick wide receiver, and he's super good on as a slot or outside. And he is a yard after catch animal. Dude will run all over you after he gets that ball. But his weaknesses are that he does have a very small frame, and he struggles against a physical press or even a physical defense. Bond is electric with the ball overall, and his matchups for nickel corners are just a nightmare. He is an ideal wide receiver 3 in a spread system. But coming in at number 8, we have Jack Bish out of TCU. He's standing 6'1" and 214 pounds. He's projected to be a 3rd or 4th round pick, and his NFL comp is Adam Thielen. I think Bish has starting level potential and maybe even Pro Bowl someday. He had 134 receptions on 1,755 yards and 13 touchdowns for his collegiate career. His strengths are that he has strong hands, strong routes, and he's a very reliable target. However, he does lack some elite traits, such as speed, agility, and separation. But ultimately, he's a glue guy receiver who excels in the intermediate game and on 3rd downs. He brings leadership and versatility to a team. I think Bish will be a pretty good pick, especially past the 3rd round. But But coming in at number 7, we do have Jalen Royals out of Utah State. He's standing 6 foot flat at 205 pounds. He's projected to be a second or maybe a third round pick, and his NFL comp is Rashid Shaheed. I think Jalen Royals could ultimately be a Pro Bowl or starting caliber player, but he does need some polishing. He had 131 career receptions on 2,004 yards and 18 touchdowns in college. His strengths is that he stretches the field and he's a deep ball tracker, and he has very explosive yards after catch. But honestly, the only weakness that I could find in Jalen Royals is that he has extremely average routes. He needs to refine those to be a very good NFL wide receiver, but that's completely possible. Jalen Royals can be a really good receiver in the NFL. And ultimately, he was one of the biggest risers of 2024, and his vertical threat is underrated. So is his strength. And he has such a great ability to torch soft zone coverages. Jalen Royals can be a really good wide receiver, and he's only in at the 7 spot. But that brings us to number 6. Coming out of Ohio State, we have Jaden Higgins. Higgins stands 6'4" at 215 pounds. He's projected to be maybe a second round pick, or maybe even a third round pick. I do think he has the same potential as Jalen Royals with Pro Bowl or even starting level ability eventually. His career stats are 141 receptions on 2,122 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns. Pretty solid stuff. His strengths are he has great size, really, really good ball control, and jump balls are just easy for him. However, his separation quickness is a very big weakness of his. Overall, he's a classic possession wide receiver who consistently wins 50-50 balls, and he's a red zone threat and a mismatch. So I think that Jaden Higgins can be a good NFL wide receiver. I don't like him in the second round, but, obviously some teams might. Especially if they need a wide receiver. Jaden Higgins might be perfect for him. His pro comp is T. Higgins. Another Higgins. But we'll see ultimately what happens to Jaden in this draft. Number 5, I do have Alec Ayomanor out of Stanford. He's 6'2", 206 pounds, and he's supposed to be a first-round pick or maybe even an early second-round pick guy. He has an NFL comparison of Michael Gallup, and I think he could be a fringe Pro Bowler or a starter or maybe even a fringe All-Pro. He had 101 career receptions on 1,512 yards and 13 touchdowns at Stanford, and he's a super physical route runner with great hands, and he just kills pass coverages. However, he does lack elite long speed. Alec is an ex-wide receiver prototype who shines against man coverages, and he's an NFL-ready wide receiver right off the bat. He's going to be a good pick for someone, especially if that wide receiver room is pretty thin. But number 4, we do have Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. I really wanted the Packers to draft him last year, but he went back to school. He's 6'1", 202 pounds, and he's projected as a late first-round pick, maybe even an early second. He has NFL comps of Robert Woods. I think he could be a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro level wide receiver. Simply put, that's his potential. His career stats are 175 receptions on 2,639 yards and 20 touchdowns. He was second team All-Big Ten in 2023, and he was also a freshman All-American. His strengths is that he's technically refined, has great hands, and he's a positional versatility. His weaknesses are he doesn't consistently create after the catch. Sometimes he just catches the ball and goes out of bounds, or he doesn't look like he's a yak monster like some of the other guys we've seen so far. Overall, Emeka has been overshadowed by elite talent, but he is a high floor wide receiver too. And he understands spacing and coverages. He's an NFL-ready route runner already. He's going to be quite the pick for someone come Thursday. But maybe not quite the pick as these other 3 wide receivers. We got Matthew Golden coming in at number 3 out of Texas. He's 5'11", 191 pounds, and he's projected as a late first or an early second round pick. I think he has Pro Bowl or All-Pro level potential, and he has Tyler Lockett as an NFL comp, who Tyler Lockett's made a really solid career for himself. His career stats are 147 receptions on 2,190 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns. He was Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year in 2023 and second all-team Big 12. His strengths are is that he has track speed, excellent footwork, and he's a deep ball specialist. However, his weakness is that he has a very small catch radius. Overall, Golden brings rare speed to the outside and is also a kick return demon. He wins vertically and in motion, and he's ideal for pass-heavy systems needing a burner. Matthew Golden's going to be a good wide receiver in the NFL. Number 2, we have Luther Burden III out of Mizzou. I think this guy is the most underrated wide receiver in the entire draft, even though he's projected to be a first-round pick. Luther is standing at 6 foot flat and 205 pounds. He has pro comps to Deebo Samuel, and I think he has All-Pro or Pro Bowl potential. He caught 164 receptions on 2,250 yards and 19 touchdowns with 300-plus rushing yards in his career. 2-time first-team All-SEC and a 2024 All-American. He's an explosive yards after catch monster, route versatility for days, and he's dynamic in motion. He needs polishing in his deep route timing, but overall, he is so solid and such a good wide receiver. He's a 5-tool offensive weapon who's played all over Missouri's formation. And not only that, he's dominated as a slot, he's dominated outside, he's dominated as a gadget threat, and he's dominated as a wide receiver 1 for Mizzou. He has unlimited potential in the NFL, and I'm super excited to see what Luther Burden III can do. But, you guessed it, coming in at that number 1 spot, T-Mac, Tatoria McMillan, out of Arizona. Standing 6'4" at 219 pounds, he's projected a first-round pick. NFL pro comps to AJ Green, borderline Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. All-Pro wide receiver potential for sure, maybe even Hall of Fame potential. He caught 164 receptions on 2,382 yards and 23 touchdowns in 3 seasons. He was first-team All-Pac-12 in 2024, and he was a Biletnikoff semifinalist. He has elite body control, a huge catch radius, super red zone threat, and he's dominant against press and man coverages. However, his top-end speed is a little bit average, but that is the only knock on T-Mac. He's a wide receiver 1 prototype with an alpha frame, vertical dominance, and he took over games in 2024. He's maybe one of the most polished outside receivers I have ever seen. I mean, Calvin Johnson definitely is beats him, but, you know. Anyways, that's it. There you have it. There's your top 10 wide receiver prospects. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shoot me any emails for suggestions on videos or any comments, criticisms, or if you just want to stop by and say hey. Thank you so much for watching with us today, and you have a great rest of your day.